Grok 4 just dropped. In this video, we're going to be looking at what the hype is all about, go through some pricing and benchmarks, and see it live in an N8N automation. So Grok 4 is a new LLM released by X and Elon Musk, and we'll just go into some stats just so you get an idea of how powerful. Grok 4 and Super Grok was just released by X and Elon Musk. If you check out some of these statistics, you can see how powerful this LLM is. So Grok 4 intelligence, performance, and price analysis. For intelligence, it is at the top. Speed, it is a little bit slower in comparison to other models, and price point is pretty expensive. So some key takeaways is that it's more intelligent, it is slower, and it's more expensive. So it's great for deep reasoning. Like if you compare it to Claude Opus 4, it beats it in a lot of those metrics. So if you've used Claude Opus 4 before, then it's similar to that. Now, if you're doing complex coding or engineering, I would say that this is a model that you would want to use. For example, in humanities last exam, it was tested on a mix of questions from science, law, medicine, philosophy. So apparently this model is pretty much similar to having a PhD in every field. So if you take a look at some of the benchmarks, the humanities last exam tests you on these different benchmarks. If we look at some of the benchmarks here, this GPQA is a physics benchmark. This AMY 25 is a math, and this LCB is a coding, and the HMMT is also a math benchmark. And so in comparison to all the different LLMs, you can see that Grok 4 and Grok 4 Heavy did best in the humanities last exam. Something else to note is the context window tokens. It has 256,000 tokens. And you can see that in comparison to all the different LLMs here. Now, one thing with the pricing is SuperGrok is $30 a month, which is pretty hefty. And then SuperGrok Heavy is $300 a month. So in comparison to some other LLMs, I think it's just a bit more expensive, like Claude and ChatGPT are around $20 US per month. And you can get their Pro and Max versions for $200 to $300. Here is the prices right here. You got a basic free version, Grok's $30, and then SuperGrok Heavy is $300. Here is an intelligence versus price chart. And so you can see that Grok 4 in comparison is pretty good, although it's one of the more expensive ones, but for intelligence versus price, it is pretty up there. So that is just a quick run through of Grok 4 and some of the benchmarks. I don't want to get too deep into it. We want to see if it actually provides results. This is how you're going to set up Grok 4 in your N8N. So what you want to do is you have two different options. You've got the AI Grok chat model. You can use an HTTP request also, or you could use OpenRouter. And so I'm going to show you these two different methods. So let's just start over from scratch. If we're going to add it to an AI agent, we'll just type in agent here, and we will add ourselves a chat trigger. And the best way that I found is just through OpenRouter, so that you can switch between different models. So for example, I can use ChatGPT 4, and I can also use Grok 4 if I want to. And so that is the method I'm going to show you right now. So once you have OpenRouter as your LLM, select it, and you will go to create a new credential, and you need an API key. So from here, we'll go openrouter.ai. You'll sign in, make an account. You'll go to credits. You'll add yourself some credits, and then you'll go to API keys and create yourself an API key. Mine is on a different email, which is why it's not showing, but add yourself some credits, add an API key, copy the API key over, and then paste that in here. Boom, save, and then you'll have access to all of these different LLMs here. Now, if you want to install it through the Grok chat model, then you just type in Grok, select it here, and then you will disconnect your OpenRouter model, and then add that. And what we need to do is pretty much the same thing. So you're going to create a new credential, add in an API key, and you're going to need to go to console.x.ai, and you will add some credits here as well. Same thing as OpenRouter, and then API keys. You'll create yourself an API key, copy it over, and then add it in, and you'll be connected through XAI. So I'm going to pull a couple different questions. So physics and engineering. So I'm going to ask it this question, which is design a theoretical propulsion system that could work in a vacuum without violating conservation laws, but using principles we don't currently employ in spaceflight. That's exactly what I was going to ask it. So let's just see what it does here. Let's go, Grok. All right, here we go. We've got the output. So below is a detailed design for a theoretical propulsion system that meets your criteria. I have no idea what it is talking about, but let's see what it outputs. System name, Hawking Radiation Drive. Okay, sounds pretty cool. This is a propulsion system that uses the controlled Hawking radiation from an artificially created microscopic black hole. Oh, we're getting deep. To generate directed thrust. This concept is inspired by theoretical proposals from physicists like Lewis Crane and Sean. Quantum field theory. Oh, it's going extra deep. Mass energy conversions via Einstein's E equals mc squared. Okay, seems pretty in-depth. Black hole feeding and containment to maintain its size and prevent runaway evaporation. Wow. Rush generation, performance characteristics, control and safety, why it doesn't violate conservation laws, technological challenges and limitations. I'm going to test this and compare it to open routers. We're going to go and ask Claude, Opus 4. That's the latest version, right? We're going to ask it the same question and see how long it takes and how in depth it is. Boom. I just asked Claude Opus 4. It took 14 seconds, so a lot shorter, but the output is a lot worse. Here, I asked the exact same question. And I don't mean it's worse. I just mean it's a lot less context. So we'll see once we go through it. And so in comparison, Grok took about 2 minutes, where Claude Opus 4 took 15 seconds. And so I think just with this output, Grok is definitely better at research in a lot of fields, if not all of them. And so it might be better at deep research, but is it better at automations and solving actual business problems? This is the automation we're going to work with. It's a personal assistant agent, and we're going to ask it to book us a calendar event. I figured, what's the point of doing a really complex automation when we could just compare it with something as simple as booking a calendar event? So in OpenRouter, we have our Grok 4 model selected, and we're going to ask it to book us calendar event. Book me a coffee meeting today at 7 p.m. And so just based off that, it booked us a calendar event. It took about 30 seconds, and I just confirmed that it did work. And we have to keep in mind that Grok 4 was just released and it's probably overwhelmed, and so we have to take that into account as well. Let's try Opus 4 now and see the output and how long it takes. So we're just going to ask it to book us a meeting. We're just going to ask it to book us a meeting. Give it the exact same task. So Opus took about 10 seconds to give that first answer, and so it just wants some more details. I'm just going to tell it no, just book it, just so we give it the same input. So the second output took 11 seconds, so that puts us at 20 seconds. And there you go. Perfect. I've created a new coffee meeting for you today at 4 p.m. and you also have another one at 7 p.m. So it does recognize the other coffee meeting that was booked. For tasks like these, I wouldn't use Opus 4 or Grok. I would use something like GPT-4 or even 4 Mini. And so we're going to use GPT-4 here, ask it the same question and see what the output and how long it takes. Book me a coffee meeting. I've created a coffee meeting event for today at 3 p.m. It took 9 seconds and I confirmed that it did book that meeting for us. GPT-4 was 9 seconds, Opus was 20, and Grok was 30 seconds. And so for everyday automations, I would stick to something like GPT-4 or 4 Mini. And if you're doing some sort of deep research, then I would use Grok 4 or Opus 4 definitely. If you want to learn more about AI, I have a Skool community called the AI Automations Club, where we talk about AI every day. And you can also download my free N8N and automations template. It'll be 90% of the way done for you, and I would love to see you inside. So see you there. I hope you liked this video, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.